Hey, it's Scotch Test Dummies. We're coming to you today with some Ardmore, which is non-chill filtered whiskey. Where's it from, Bruno?
Highland, and it's a peated Scotch.
So a peated Scotch from the Highlands, and we're going to talk about going to the doctor for a little bit of a snip.
Let's test it.
I don't know. Okay, test it.
All right, we're back. We got a little story to tell. Actually, two stories.
Right. Scott and I have both been fixed.
As my wife says, I'm a sport model.
My wife basically just explained to me how hard and dangerous the process is for a woman to have her tubes tied, and how easy, and it's an outpatient and much less expensive for me to just get
snipped.
Yeah.
Right there.
And were you nervous?
Well,
you did it before I did.
Yes, you took my advice.
I did.
Several years ago, after two boys, decided to get the big V.
Vasectomy is what he means there.
Went in, you get a lot of advice from people. The main advice from the doctor.
A lot of bad stories too.
Bad stories. The main advice from the doctor is when it's done, it really doesn't feel that bad.
True.
So don't overdo yourself. For 3 days, do nothing but lay around and watch TV.
There was a guy told me he rode a horse the second day. Yeah, I know. Horseback riding. Come on. I don't want to do that if I'm like normal.
The advice is it really doesn't hurt that bad. The next day, you're really not in that much pain as long as you're laying around. Right. And I think that's the problem. Most guys are laying around and they're like, you know, this really doesn't feel that bad. I think I can go ride my motocross bicycle and do some
cross-country ski
jumps. But no, you can't do that. The other main advice I had for Bart was after the second day, I took a shower. Of course, I stripped down.
Great advice. Here.
Yes,
but you didn't strip down completely.
Part of the recovery is you wear compression shorts this whole time, and they help hold everything snugly in place. I took my compression shorts off when I took my shower, which was a hot shower, and it caused everything to loosen and to drop basically, and it was very painful.
So he did tell me, take a shower with the compression shorts on, hold those little boys in place, don't let them move, and much more pleasant. Now, we want to break into...
let's go with your vasectomy, because you've got a funny...
Yeah, one of my best stories ever comes from a vasectomy. Now, I'm always looking for a good story, and this one's one of the best. So here's the deal. I call up, I'm going to get this, the best doctor in the whole state, and they tell me, well, do you want to use his like intern, you know, you can get in quicker. First of all, getting in quicker was not really my main concern. If anything, I wanted to prolong the thing. So I waited for the main doctor. The day comes, I'm nervous. My wife drives me there. She decided, or I decided, that she wasn't going to be present for the procedure. I don't know why. I think I could have had it either way, but I was nervous enough already. So
I let my wife went in. She sat in there and read a book, I think, while it happened.
I don't know. My wife, I don't think my wife wanted me in there. But so nurse leads me into the room. I'm nervous. She leads me in and she tells me to strip nude from the waist down. Now, if you're going to be nude from the waist down, I guess we could even take the shirt off, but whatever, the shirt's staying on.
Would you strip nude from the waist down?
I guess not. Maybe she just said strip from the waist down. I don't know. I was very nervous. Then she says, she points over to a bed and says, lay on that bed and cover yourself with that. And I should have even, well, this is close. We'll just get a piece of paper. She says, cover yourself with that. It's like this, it was like a cocktail napkin. Is literally, this is even too big.
It's like a washcloth, maybe.
Yeah, but no, but it was like a little square piece of paper about the size of a cocktail napkin. Now, that didn't draw my attention. What drew my attention was the bed. You're getting the vasectomy done generally, or at least I did, at a urologist's office. So the bed had stirrups. So first of all, I've never even seen stirrups. So I was like, wow, surely, hopefully, Not that it would matter, I guess, but I won't be in the stirrups.
Now you're 6'7".
6'6".
6'6". Are stirrups made for 6'6" people?
Well, it turns out they were needed at one point. So I go over. I'm nude from the waist down. I pick up this little cocktail napkin thing, and I lay on the bed, and it's a heightened bed, probably for the doctor's surgery purposes, so the legs are dangling. I am not going to put them in the stirrups, okay? I'm figuring that is not for me. The stirrups, I don't know why they're there, but they're there for a woman. However, this thing is supposed to cover the pickle. Let's just call it the pickle. And I'm having a heck of a time keeping it balanced, and I'm thinking, why in the world, because she said cover yourself with that. I'm thinking, why in the world would she want me to cover my pickle with this? It wouldn't stay balanced, it kept sliding off. I finally got it kind of perched on there. So I'm laying on an uncomfortable bed, my feet are not in the stirrups, and my pickle is covered by a piece of paper the size of a cocktail napkin.
Nice.
She walks in, and the first thing out of her mouth was erupting laughter. Okay,
that's not what you want to hear.
No, you don't want to be ready to have the boys cut on, you're nude the waist down, and exposed at least partially, and have a nurse laughing at you. I'm like, hey. She goes, that opens up. It turns out it's called a drape. And she plucks it right off of the member and goes, and it opens up to like a 4 by 3 foot blanket. And I'm thinking, I actually told her that would have been much more comforting if I was covered with that little drape thing. And then she noticed you do have to pre-shave. She noticed I hadn't pre-shaved as much as the doctor would have liked. And told me to go ahead and put my legs in the stirrups. And I told her, well, I wasn't going to do that without being told. And then she proceeded to shave, which ended up being very clinical. I was actually nervous about the shave, and it was a clinical process. However, she did tell me, she said, you know, I'm a nurse. And I said, you know, nurses have the best stories. And she goes, I won't reveal your name, but I'm going to be telling this story. And I said, I think I will tell it too. So if you ever go in for a vasectomy, when they tell you to cover yourself with that, that opens up. Okay? You can really cover your whole private area with the drape, not just this thing balanced on your package. That is what I call the cocktail story, pun intended. Let's try some Ardmore.
Let's try some Ardmore. Yes. Very simple packaging, I would call it. It does have a nice the usual cardboard cylindrical tube, which may prevent it from breaking from a fall.
I once broke a bottle of Cragganmore.
Ardmore is the only Highland distillery that still fully peats their malt.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
With Highland peat, so they say.
Well, you think they're lying? They're using...
No, I didn't. I hadn't thought of a different peat from a different area. But they did distinguish, say it is Highland peat.
Highland peat. I'm sure they have a lot of peat.
I'm excited to try this. I have not tried this before for the price range that we were in. I think this was $33 for the bottle here locally. We do like the peated. Bart likes the peated more than I do.
I do.
So I'm excited to try it and see.
The peated will have a smoky flavor. So it just imparts kind of a smokiness to it. And you can get a whole different range of the smokiness. Some is almost ashtray-ish. Goodness. Some is more of just an actual feeling of the smoke. Let's try it neat, first of all.
The Ardmore also does a double maturation with theirs. They're going to age it at first in a traditional oak cask, and then they're going to move it into an older quarter cask that a lot of places don't use anymore because it's cost prohibitive.
All right, I get a nice, there is a little smokiness to it. Kind of having a hard time with it neat. I'm just picking up a little bit more of the alcohol. Let's try a little neat.
Definitely the peat. It smells like a smooth peat, not overpowering.
Wow.
There is something there behind it as well.
Yeah, you've got a strong opening wood smoke flavor. Wow, it's definitely it doesn't tail off with a real long aftertaste. What do you think?
Wow, yeah. There is a fruit that's coming in there with it, or maybe it is the oak with the peat. A lot of times with the peat, I don't detect other stuff.
Yeah.
And like I say, I was anxious to try this at the price point and the fact that I haven't had it.
I've put in a little water. It's opened up notes a little bit, but I'm getting a little bit of sweetness. There's something else, a little bit of the floral maybe. I can't quite, what do you got?
Yeah, it's definitely in there, and I could smell it right away. I'm not real good yet at distinguishing a lot of the different flavors and scents, but I can tell that there's something in there behind the peat. That's I'm very impressed with it for the price point on it, for a peated Highland.
Yeah, I get a little
Scotch.
bit of, you almost, when you have I can definitely pick up the peat in particular. It's not just the smokiness. I get a bit of, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but a little bit of that sour note of the peat that's in there as an aftertaste. But I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just as it kind of softens and trails out.
I don't know if that's to go with your vasectomy story. There is a pubic hair on your counter right there.
First of all, what are you talking about? There would not be a pubic hair.
Did you put that there because of the vasectomy story?
No, it's probably just...
Do you see it?
I don't, but we are filming, and there is not a pubic hair on the table. What are you talking about? It's filthy.
All right, I'm impressed with the Ardmore.
All right, very good. Like I said, any other notes on there? I get a little bit of the nutty taste.
Actually, I thought the diluting took that flavor away from it. That flavor that was in there with the peat when we drank it neat was a lot more prevalent than when I diluted with the water. Now I'm not getting it.
I would say prevalent.
Prevalent, what did I say?
Prevalent.
Prevalent.
That's all right. But no, I would agree with you, actually.
Yeah.
When we were trying it neat, I felt like I was getting a little bit more of the peaty flavors. Yeah. So when we try this again, I'm going to go without the touch of water. So, all right. So there you go. Try it. Definitely try it neat when you're giving it a shot. And it's a nice Highland peat, non-chill filtered. All right. Scotch Test Dummies, Sláinte.
Sláinte.
See you guys. Dummies. And watch your vasectomies. Cocktail napkin. It's a drape. See you guys. It's Scotch Test Dummies coming with you.
Coming with you. Coming at you.
I wanted to go high energy.